Hey, welcome, all my right thinkers. Thanks for tuning in and check out your boy, P-Farm, thinking right out here in my lab. And I'm in the book. I got a nice little lesson for you today. If I had the blue screen, this would be the background. I'm going to break this down for you today. Ooh, it's going to be fun. I like doing this. This is going to explain the 7 souls of Ra and the 7 aspects of Haru, a.k.a. me and you, the divine child. Let's go. I'm going to have some fun. All right. Right, this is 25 Rules to Live By. Storytelling. Story with a message. There's a message in my stories for life. I give you life lessons, sometimes from the book. You tune into receiving them. I hope they're working out for you. We got a good thing going. Let's do what we do. Right thinking mission. And that's what I'm on. Is to enlighten, inspire, educate, and motivate you, the individual, to a higher spiritual level of enlightenment. Right thinking way of life through mental and spiritual discipline. Practice daily will help and guide you to obtain your goal of reaching spiritual enlightenment, aka to know thyself. My mission that all right thinkers know thyself. If you're a right thinker, yeah, your goal is to know thyself. You see where we're going with this? Let's get there together. So I asked the question, do you know you? You will when I'm through, because that's what I tend to do. It's rhetorical, but if you don't have an answer for yourself, tune in. I got you. Excuse me. A person who knows not, and knows not that they know not, is foolish. Disregard them. A person who knows not and knows that they know not is simple. You can teach them. That's why I do what I do for you. Appreciate you too. Stay tuned. I got more for you. A person who knows not and believe and think that they know is dangerous. Avoid them. I do. A person who knows and knows not that they know is spiritually asleep. I can awaken them. I'm the spiritual alarm clock here to wake you up with knowledge of self. That's what I do for you. A person who knows and knows that they know is wise. Follow them. All these persons reside in you. Right thinkers, know thyself and to my eye be true. I just show you the book, what we're working with, because you see, if you know, we climbing the tree of life. I broke it down, we're getting better. But this is called the scales balance of Maya. And you see all 7 spears is on her scale. Here, you see the tree of life. Every spear is broken down by each level up to the 6th. The 7th is outside. The 7th chakra is outside the body when we do it that way. So I want to break that down. Little tidbit, little stuff that I like to show I know what I'm talking about. Hopefully you understand it. So let's go. So this is what we call explaining the 7 souls of Ra and the 7 aspects of Haru, the divine child. That's me and you. All right. Philosophically, metaphorically, that's what you're supposed to get it and understand. Like Christ, same concept. Below, I just showed you the left section is the tree of life, we call the obelisk, with the 7 souls of Ra and the 7 aspects of Haru, the divine child. At the top, you see Ra in his 3 forms. In the morning, he's Khepri, scarab-headed man. At noon, he's Ra with the falcon head, with the sun disk and the Uraeus. At evening, he's Tim. And he's going down in old age. Even time gets old. That's what it's about, passing on. And Ra gets old. He got the disc over his head, and he got a walking stick. The old question was, to get into the riddle was, what starts out on 4, goes to 2, and ends on 3. That's Ra, okay? All stuff that was ancient time, and it's been used, sliced, diced in many different ways, but this is the original stuff. This is the good stuff here. All right, and you see, that's number 1. But on the tree of life, they number 1 down to 10. But when we're doing what we're doing now, line art, the image of Mayat, balance scales, hers is a little different. And you see on hers at Judgment Day, you see that Amet, the unrighteous, either this is modernized, okay, but this is the original on the walls. They showed you this right here. This is Tahuti, the baboon form. He's keeping records. Well, where's Anubis? Right here. Symbolically, that's him. Making sure you get a fair shape, making sure the scales is balanced. Because from here down, you belong to Amet. Okay? Simple as that. So that's the concept. It's been going on for thousands of years. And now we play the game by heaven, hell. And I tell anybody, whatever religion, belief system you follow, it's still based on this. So if you practice it the way it's intended, you will get there too. The idea is escape what? Eternal damnation, as y'all said. But we call it dying twice. Simple. Moving on. But Let me break it down for you, hopefully, again. In spear 1, okay, you see we start from the bottom. We're doing the spears. And the spears are these things right here. Okay? Now, each spear got to be lit up. It's got to be, the serpent got to come up, okay, and go up. And you personally got to go up and then come back down to earn your spot as what? Master of oneself on earth. I'm trying to get you to know thyself, okay? Every way you want to call it, still come back to that. So we just played a different strategy, different concept, dressed up a little different, but it's the same thing. Let's see if I can get my point across this way. Now, at spear 1, that's the first level. From the bottom, and you moving upwards, that includes the god and goddess in the Haru forms. Now, Haru is spirit. Understand that. Is a child. Haru Kute. And Haru is what? As well as Nephet and Set. That's all based in the first spear. All those are things that you got to understand. And now, spear 2, second spear going up, you have Aset and Asar. And you'll see each spear has a line going across as we go up. This is where we are now. This right here. This is where we are right here in the first spear. You get that? You move up to the second spear, and you see right here, they are diagonal lines going across. Set and Nephet, they don't have a line going across. See, the line is broken right there. All the other lines extend out. And that's because Nephet represents death. Set represents the ego. Them two together can't produce. I'm getting ahead of the lesson. I'm going to get the lesson. So that's the first spear. You got to understand that. Now, the second spear, when you have Aset and Asar, they come together. And spear 3 will include nexus, the matchup between Nut and Geb, Geb being the earth, Nut being heaven. And that brought Asar and Aset. Nut being the mother of all, she gave birth to Asar, Aset, Set, Nephet, and Haru. The 5 days that we counted down, 365 days, 360 just represent God by himself. 65 is the other 5 letters that he brought into existence, okay, which is us. All right, at different levels, different points, beautiful concept, but that's where we are right now. But the 5 days represents the 5 births, Asar, Aset, Set, Nephet, and Haru, the great. Once he had mastered himself, it says, master of the earth. That means he knew himself. He became great in physical form on earth, like Christ. All right. And now we got spear number 4, which includes now the principles of what? Earth and heaven, Geb and Nut. And the spear 5, that includes the combination between who? Shu, which is air. Tefnut represents moisture, which is the first 2 things that God put into existence. Being all conscious, he knew we would need those things. So air with Shu, he sneezed out Shu, spit out Tefnut. That became air and moisture and the force of nature. And that brought upon, they gave birth to Geb and Nut into being. So spear number 6 includes the principles of Shu, Tefnut, which represents air. Shu represents air, ether, and moisture for Tefnut, life force. Spear 7, the top, I just told you beginning, that includes God and goddess. Ra here is androgynous, meaning containing both male and female elements within himself until he what? Engenders what we know to be duality. 2 opposites come together. We know it as Maya. Okay? Shu and Tefnut, the first aspect in the concept of Maya. Maya ain't in that group. She represents order. That's what he represented when he came out. That's when duality came into existence. Night and day. Like belief and knowing. You can't occupy the same space. You can't believe and know at the same time. But your belief system follows. Either you know or you don't know. Belief means you don't know. All right. But now in the book, Per M. Haru, the text of our ancient Egyptians, okay, the ancient Egyptian book of enlightenment or coming forth by day, there's a statement that state of spiritual enlightenment is described in chapter 83, where you, the initiate, realizes that the 7 ujas, the serpents, okay, the female serpent is the eye that Ra sent out and came back. Yeah, we transformed, took the spot. She got mad. He turned into the serpent, so she's the Uranus that protects us. And there's 7 of them. He have 7 what they call Uranuses. That's the female serpent. And when they rear at the cobra, that means it's ready to attack. And it stay in attack mode. When you see that, she's always up ready to strike down any evil against Ra. That means disrespectful, dishonest, darkness, all the bad things, all right? But the Uranus, a.k.a. serpent deities, or the bodies of the immortal parts of the spirit, gave that lesson a long time ago, and have been what? Reconstructed, and rediscovered of oneself. The 7 Uranuses are the body. My image is now what? Eternal. The spears are inside the body. I told you this about right here, the last lesson. This is what the body is inside the body. He called it Kundalini, serpent power. We all understood that. But that's what eternity is. It don't change. It don't stop. It goes on. So now, over here, ding, 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 next page. We're on the level where it says, now, these 7 serpents, the 7 Uranuses, rearing cobras, okay? Rearing cobras is the primary symbol of who? The goddess aspect and the Egyptian iconographs. And they are described as the 7 souls of Ra, the 7 arms, and the balance of Maya. Ding, 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 ding. That's why she oversees judgment, okay? And the past the scales of Maya, you see the 7 of them, they all decide her. She decides. After here, you get judgment. Here down, beastly nature. You ain't got a chance. So I tell most Masons, 7 degrees in masonry for a reason. You ain't a true Mason until you get the 7th. That means you got to get the knowledge of it. You just get an identification with yourself. Now you got to obtain the knowledge. That's what goes together. The compass is the spiritual. The square is the physical. You got to get the physical back to the spiritual by what? Learning and living and get that serpent going inside yourself. That's why it's all internal and it's all conscious. God is not physical. Man is. Moving on. This is all psychological stuff, mental. These, watch this, and the 7 balances of Alma Maya. And these designations, of course, they refer to the 7 spears of the balance scales of Maya, which correspond with the 7 chakra system in India. Again, we all practice what? It's righteous living. No matter what you call it, it's all got to do the same thing. And if you ain't living right, you will be perished. Simple as that. We had a philosophy, they had one, and so on and so forth. Now, modernized, you got to be like Christ. Okay, if you're a Christian, you can do that, but don't fake it. All I'm saying is, I could care less, but just be honest and on point with it. Why? Because if it's not manifested for you, it's a waste of time anyway. What I do manifests for me. I don't know what you do for you, but I tell you all the time, right thinking is doing what? What works for you. I ain't telling you what to do, okay? Understand that? So let's go. I'll tell you what I do. Moving on. Those who follow and practice, thank you, appreciate you. But this is the whole point. I just show you a figure, A, and it shows you the scale of Maya, displaying the 7 spears of the energy centers. That's called the 7 souls of Ra. We know it as the 7 arms of the balance of Maya, because at Judgment Day, depending how you live, the 47 confessions, your spirit and your consciousness and how you live should add up to 42 confessions of what? I have not. And if you have done those things, your heart will be light as Maya's feather conceptually, and that's how it's done. They give you the blueprint. It ain't a guessing game. It ain't a haphazard. Who didn't know you know. This is a philosophy that you can practice and manifest. That's how I'm saying. I ain't gonna apply whatever you do. I'm doing my thing. Okay, understand? And my thing working for me. And if your thing working for you, my pastor, my church family, they don't need right thinking. They already got it. So however they got it, they got it. How about that? So moving on. So I don't go there trying to, no, let them know I understand. I'm with you. I got you. So we work together. Again, religion and philosophy, aka yoga system, can coexist harmoniously. It always has been. The people who wanted to make the problem. Moving on. But this process of what we call psycho-spiritual journey, aka climbing the tree of life, in its effect, is a method to make you or the 7 souls of Ra part of one's body, you. Since what's this? Here's my point, and I'm been rattling y'all, and I'm going to continue. Since an ignorant person, and a lot of y'all are just that, that's why I'm biting them. Why? You don't know, and I ain't got a problem with that. But if something you don't know and you don't want to learn, that makes you dumb. You will be dumb. And the action that you perform from being dumb and ignorant will be what? Stupid. Because why? You're going to hurt yourself. And that's stupid. Okay? The action that you're going to do going to fall back on you, a.k.a. the consequences of your actions. Good actions lead to good results. I do it every day. But not having, this means since you're an ignorant person, and that means not having awakened your inner life force. Okay? And that is unaware. You are unaware of its existence. Watch this. So that means it is as if you were dead. A person, I see dead people walking. You're not part of the life force. You haven't used it. You ain't woken up. The serpent is still sleeping you in the 3.5 time coil up in your spine. You ain't woken up. Why? You ain't did nothing to justify a righteous action in your life. So it's dormant. That's why. So if you die and that serpent don't, you just going to be dead. Why? Because you didn't do nothing. Moving on. Thus, what's this? The idea of the awakening of the 7 energy centers. How? Through daily discipline and study and meditation on each principle, learning it, mastering it, and then what? Applying and the maintenance of the ethics and the living in accordance with that wisdom of the what we call the check and arc will lead you to positive spiritual evolution of your soul and its discovery of its cosmic true essence nature, knowing thyself. You only can do that by study, practicing, and implementing the principles as you learn them as the serpent goes up because you live in them. Ding, 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 ding. That's the enlightenment. Thus, each level, each sphere have to be woken up, have to be proven. I tell you, and the degrees of masonry, it takes you 1 year to learn each degree. Why? I know. That's why. And I don't give nobody, my man, a year. So man, it would take, yeah. If you weren't by time, you're in the wrong place. I did to get what we have here for you, and then that would take care of itself. But you want to jump to the chopping line. You want 7 years of information into 2 years. Don't work that way. Moving on. That's what a lot of people don't know. Even Masonic order, I see a bunch of ignorant, excuse me, I hate that, but a lot of things we just don't do. Study. Okay, and then implement what we. Why are you studying it? Why are you learning if you're not going to use it? Like going to college and get a degree and don't get a job in that level that you got the degree in. Makes no sense. Oh, I forgot. They say the bill of goods and ain't enough room for everybody. They don't tell you that part. Moving on. What I got, you can't go from a college or any university to get. Why? I got mine in real life. It yours the same way. Trust me, it worked. And for you to evolve spiritually, watch this. And thus, each level of your evolution on the tree of life is correlated to a level of evolution on the balanced scales of Maya. Each one represents something different, which is composed of the 7 arms of spirits or levels of spiritual evolution. That's why you're going to be judged on that judgment day. How far did you rise up on the 7 layers? If you meet 7, you're good. 3 under, you fail. In life, that's a simple fact. The strong will survive. The intelligent will rise. The ignorant will die. It's a simple fact. Weak means ignorant. Your mind ain't get strong enough to adjust to it and make the difference, make the adjustments to acquiesce to situations that will survive, knowing yourself, then you need to die. No use. You may have noticed that there, I show you the picture, there's no diagonal lines between Nethat, Death, and Set. Egoism. Why? That is because they do not produce and cannot produce anything. Why is that? Why is this? The male principle and the woman, female principle don't mean they got to get together and create something. But why is this? Perfect example. Egoism and death can't produce nothing. Why? They cannot produce anything. Why? Not anything real. What you mean? That is, how can death and egoism produce anything real? Okay? Consider that mortality, human. That's an illusion for those ignorant people who know when death comes, they're going to die. And because they don't know themselves, they haven't spiritually become enlightened. They don't know that they're God and spirit don't die and consciousness will go to spirit if it becomes one. They don't know that. So they will die with the physical body. And egoism is an illusion, first of all. So therefore, all they can create is what? An illusion. What you get when you go to dream? A dream. It ain't real. Wake up. Okay? Same concept. But since illusions is not real, and all the ignorant people don't distinguish between that. In effect, nothing has been created, just in their mind. When a person starts slipping from reality to the next imagination, that's called bugging out. It's called, some people, I don't know, no. You're having a problem. You can't distinguish your dream world from the real world. Moving on. And when a person gets upset, what is this? Over an object that was lost, stolen, or what happens, that's something that they desire, that they like, that is what you're set in them, leading them to what? Suffer a loss or something that material. We understand everything different, but the concept is, if you are an enlightened and wise person, you have detachment, dispassion for things. So material things really don't matter much, but if it upsets you, that's your set coming out. You get me, mine, I. That's the ego, okay? But over something that what is not really real anyway. And what's this? Since all objects in this physical realm we live in now, we claim, is just an emanation of the divine, and it does not have independent existence. And since the only reason they desire it was because what? The mind is overpowered by the setting, aka the ego consciousness, the me, the selfish part that wants everything, not knowing that when this is all over, all that got to be relinquished anyway. But they don't see that. They don't understand that. That's what makes them ignorant. That's what puts them in the what? Reincarnation cycle, and that's what their consciousness would die. That's the whole concept. And also, for all those persons, and I don't want to get wrong, but watch this, who grieve, okay, over one's loved one, somebody who died, they are now acting in what? In accordance with, I'm human, I'm wrong. They're acting in accordance with the illusionary belief, right there. You believe, what's this? And because there is no such thing as death, with a spiritually enlightened person who know God don't die, the spirit don't die, of the real essential nature of themselves, of a human being, only the generated part, aka the physical part, can die. And what dies with the physical part? The ignorant part that don't get enlightened, hence dying twice. Why? Your consciousness is going to die with you. You're no longer going to be a part of anything. Okay? And since that was never real, even when it appeared in the world of your time and space, there still is no such thing as death. I don't give a good crap what you think and how you feel. The spirit don't die. It wasn't born, so it don't have to die. Anything born, nature will die and regenerate. That's reincarnation. It's the same concept. And from an abiding point of view, philosophically, scientifically, since the true essence of the soul of human beings are what? Not generated, like I'm trying to tell you. God created himself. So yeah, there's no beginning, no ending. The 360 is complete. He's complete in every area. Now everything outside of that is an emission. What? From him. The 5 days from him. Come on now. And because we're not aggregated elements like the body and other elements, they are not mortal. It is part of the ocean of spirit consciousness. A soul's concept is of the individual is only what? Generated aspect, but the soul itself is not generated. Hope you're understanding this. It is only confirmed portion of the universal soul, Ra. So when a human being discovers their transcendental true nature, aka thyself, their soul, as it realizes what? Their oneness with what? With the vast spirit of all universal, like a drop realizing what? It's part of a vast ocean. And the misunderstanding and the wrong thinking, it was what? Alone was delusion. Again, the ego runs on illusion. It can't produce nothing. Sorry, calm down. So when Asar comes together with Aset, your spirit eternal, your wisdom, your intuitive nation, that's wisdom which Aset. So now they do generate something. Spirit and wisdom generate something what? Real. What you mean? The aspiration that makes us aspirants. when the aspiration for self-awareness, to know thyself, to find out the truth, which is what? That's abiding reality. Self-knowledge is the true knowledge, so they lead us to Haru. I can tell you, that's a spirit. That's a man. You just need to become conscious of itself. They say remember. I say no. It can seem consult again, but you have to put the work in. You have to study, put the things in that you need to be doing for yourself to reach that level. And the next thing you should know before we go any further is the arrangement of the deities. When I say deity, these are aspects of your character. You have to put them in check and learn them as you go. Each one, you have to master it, get the concept, understand it, and move on, incorporate it in your life. Why? This is crucial for you and for your understanding of what I'm about to try to teach you. Say next, related to what? The theory process, which is the science. The science means it's been scientifically proven. We haven't been put to the test. This ain't a belief. Now, this is the science of what we call the sacred worship. You need to understand that there are two main levels of divinities. Elements, physical. Spiritual, matter. And all those are aspects that's in as above, so below. There is a netter, meaning one, which is the transcendental. We call him God. Remember, ancients didn't have a word for God. It was netter. Understand that. And the transcendental. And then there is what? Netteru, which is the mundane. In time and space, the physical concept. That's the realm of what? Generation. So that realm will what? When it generates, it's going to die. Note, even though from the perspective of the generated world, we may consider the transcendence as the divinity for what? The purpose of having a concrete vision and direction for the worship program. We have to call it worship dream, a gene in us. Our desire for something more than us. That's natural. That's, come on, man. For those who have ego, they don't have that. They have the gene, they just don't activate it. It's there, like the dormant serpent. It ain't moving until you make it move. Those who are egotistical, the serpent don't move. That's what they're trying to tell you. And watch this. In order for you to have a program to worship in a higher level, which I consider to be God, of an understanding that is what? Is not considered a divinity, since it is what? Transcendent of that concept. And from an absolute perspective, only the entities of what? Time and space are considered as divinities. But for the purpose of explaining through philosophy from that perspective of a person who is moving upwards on the tree, they may see everything above as what? Divinities, until they are ready to truly understand the higher philosophical insight. You have to reach those levels on your own. I can't tell you about them. I can just instruct you. You got to implement them, and you'll go on your own. Once you start, your mastery will be up to you. I can't tell you when you mastered you. You will know, okay? But it's all based on the work that you put in. So therefore, since there are two kinds of divinities, the one that is source, and the one that is what? Generated by that source. That makes sense? In a hierarchical format, there are two kinds of worship. What you mean? The movement towards the divine on your spiritual path, okay? It necessitates what? The development of the feeling capacity and its emotions, as well as the intellectual capacity and its understanding. When you gain control of your emotions, no more anger, no more greed, no more lust, no more deceitful actions. When you gain control of that, you eradicate that. You're controlling what? Your lower nature. Those are desires of the flesh. When you get past that, that's the first level. That's a necessity to develop and have. And it takes intellect and intestinal fortitude and understanding of the teachings and lessons that you're learning. And you as an aspirant beginning the worship aspect of your spiritual program by what? Perpetuating the divinity of time and space. This practice daily, when properly, again, correctly instructed and used, it leads to the level beyond what we call time and space. Why? Because the divinities of generations are to be worshipped with objects of the world of generation in the physical form, but objects from time and space. And since they are time and space divinities, they are to be worshipped in time and space manner. And with what? Time and space objects. That's why you go to the altar, that's why you go to the book, that's why you do all that. That's all fine. But let's break it down a little more simple before I take it home right here. So Shu is to be worshipped. Remember, Shu is air. How you worship air? Good question. With beautiful fragrance, oils, and incense. That's what you satisfy. Shu, the air. You put it into the air. Didn't know that, did you? Oh, I thought we were burning this. Yeah, that's get understanding. Y'all doing stuff ignorantly. Why? Y'all just going with the flow. Y'all don't know what it means. Purpose. I've been in Masonic order over years. A lot of stuff I look at, I say, ooh. See, that's why it's good to learn. That's why it's good to enhance your studying knowledge, because you're reading, ooh. So I'm just saying that. But the purpose of that is for that. You worship in what? Shu, air. He is the air. He is the space. Geb is to be worshipped. Geb is the earth, physical. How you worship Geb, the earth, with things of the earth. Okay, food. And by cultivating the land, by planting beautiful plants and trees and taking care of them. We call it Mother Nature, but that's Geb, that's earth. We physical take care of him. Watering them, etc. Nut is who? Heaven. She is to be, what's this? Adored with paintings, beautiful, her body, which is adorned with decked with stars. She looked like the galaxy. She's the one hanging over in the starry body. Okay, but these is the stars, and there are many other aspects to worship as well, like the incense, like the offering, such as Hotep. It brings us to an important aspect of what they call Uash. U-A-U-ash. It means praise and worship. Okay, this is dua. Praise and worship with both hands up. Okay, I come in peace. Or touchdown if you're a football fan. You see the referee doing this touchdown. And my man breaks it down too. I know all that stuff, but I don't break it down to that. I understand it, so I let them do that thing. I do my thing. But that's praise and worship. That's devotion, which is understanding about what they call Hotep offering. Peace. I come in peace. Hotep, I spell it H-E-T-E-P. Some people spell it H-O-T-E-P. That's all the same thing. But also what it means. It means contentment of the gods that you're serving and goddess through what? The appeasement of your offerings for them. When you appease those gods, they what? Work for you. Again, it's a concept that works fine. And you're now giving those divinities through what? Their due, so to speak. So that what? They will now be contented. And they will not be obstructive in your pursuit of your higher divinity. But if you do not quell their desires, satisfy them, their energies in you. In other words, if you have lots of ego, again, that ego, if you're more ego-based in you, then that egoism is what is going to block you from your discovering your higher divinities in yourself, like David and Goliath, that are higher than it. And the ego don't want you to go higher. The ego want to keep right under him. That sound like the other guy on it. Same concept. And watch this. Virtually all the divinities are what? Higher than Seth. He's the lowest. Okay, he's the worst. Like Trump, he's lowest on totem pole. But his ego tells he's the greatest. Again, perfect example in living form. I can make an example of real stuff and prove my point from ancient times. Hope you get the concept. Let me wrap this up. And the egoism, let's us be clear here. Understand. The divinities are cosmic forces that course through the universe and even within your own personality. That's what I'm trying to get you to understand. And they are to be mastered by who? You. And not what? The other way around. The ego, if the ego is your master, you ass out. Simple as that. Okay? You are to become their controller, their master. And then thereby now you will rule and be free. Truth sets you free. And you're free on what? Your higher planes, as opposed to being ruled and enslaved and ignorant on the lower plane. It means bringing them together so that they merge and what? Lose their gender. You become genderless and uniting as what? As one of self. And so doing, their energies within the proprietary, The preparatory person practicing will coalesce, your ego will acquiesce as well. And what they say, the wise ones serve the higher planes, your higher self, and rule the lower. In this way, Haru, the one operates the lowers instead of being a slave to them by being ruled by your ego, aka set. Salvation. Understand this I'm taking it home, people. I'm going to stop after this. Salvation is the freeing. Truth sets you free. That means you learn the truth about your soul from its body fetish. That means you becoming what? A God through what? You ready? Self-knowledge, acquiring wisdom, and controlling the forces of ego, cosmic, instead of what? Being a slave to them, aka the ego, and subduing your lower nature set. And through awakening of your higher consciousness, and that's how you end the cycle of what? Rebirth and dwelling with the netters who direct to control the greater planes of eternity, of immortality, where you go for the rest of your days. Mastery of self consists not of a bunch of wild, crazy, abnormal dreams and visions of God and all that fantastic imaging, but living and using your higher forces of consciousness by practicing, studying, and learning, meditating against what? Your lower, thus escaping the pains of what? Your lower vibration on your higher. Everything you do, lower nature gonna come back and bite you in the butt. Having it, think about it. I ain't gotta make that point because everybody got their own. If you understand it, then you'll get better at what? Not doing it. Stop doing things that's gonna hurt you in the consequence concept. So do things that's right and good. You'll be blessed and you'll benefit from that. That's just the philosophy that I practice. You can too. And in closing, right thinkers, may you all live to be 100, me 100, minus that day. So I've never known that my right thinkers who understand themselves a little bit better have passed away.